I've always loved doing theater since I was a little boy, and I kind of went away from it. I was more into sports for a long time. I actually injured my back in high school and didn't have anything to do because sports were gone, and so I decided to go back into theater. And I remember going back into theater and feeling more alive, feeling more charged, and I had a kind of a richer energy to me after doing creative things like theater and choir. And I remember thinking that was something that I wanted to bring to other people. I began to teach theater after college. I began to direct theater, and it was all for kids and teens, and I loved it. A lot of the relationships in my directing and teaching theater were becoming relationships that were listening, kind of a mentor relationship. And I was thinking more and more again about doing therapy, and so I decided to go to grad school. And my master's degree was in counseling and psychotherapy, but I had my focus on adolescent therapy. For me, I didn't like the way I was treated when I was a teenager. I didn't like the way adults looked at me and treated me, and we often talk about teenagers being the last acceptable group that you can discriminate against. So for me, it's been teenagers who have been the population that I feel most passionate about serving, the most passionate about trying to empower and try to give them a voice. Working with teens on issues where you're trying to make a difference, for instance, when we pick an issue like school shootings, where we want to make a difference and we want to do a play about that, they have so much energy and passion, just raw energy that needs to go somewhere, and channeling that, it's really a sight to see. It's different than working with adults. Adults are more tired. Adults have more cynicism. Teens are more fresh and more hopeful and more idealistic and optimistic, and they have enough energy and creativity to change the world if we would just give them that chance and channel that. There was a girl a few years ago, and she was working on a play with me. She was an adolescent. Her parents had informed me that she had depression, and that she was seeing a therapist and she was taking medication and doing all the traditional things, which can be very helpful. There was one day where she came home from rehearsal and told her parents that a play rehearsal was better than therapy. I have to assume what she was referring to was that we work very hard at creating a safe place for the kids to belong here. And so if it's a safe place for them to be themselves, a safe place for them to belong, and also a safe place to express themselves, I have to assume that the therapeutic change can come from that. I'm not sure if I see myself as a healer. I really believe that we are all our own healers, that we have the capacity to heal ourselves because we were all made in the image of God. So if we are all image bearers, then we all have that healing power inside of us to grow and to change. And it's interesting for me to see people who are 45 years old who can hook into that and hook into their own wisdom and their own power that is from God to change and to become healthy, happy people. But it's also fun to see 4 and 5 and 6-year-olds who, when given the right environment, when given the right relationship, they're able to tap into whatever healing power they have as well, whatever healing wisdom they have. I want to continue to teach and be curious about what causes people to be violent and what causes people to be cruel. It's always been a curiosity of mine and an interest of mine to think about what is evil, why is evil here, and what can we do about it. And hooking into, again, if we show compassion and empathy to those who are cruel, might that get to the core of the problem, and might that help to solve the problem and decrease violent behavior? That is something that I'm very, very passionate about, that I'd like to continue to teach and wonder and do plays about, and continue to work with those people who are cruel and violent. For me, it's important not to make too many plans in the future, and really trying to look at what the world might need at any given moment and trying to attack that issue.